name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
I understand the business behind the decision to reward her, but Elizabeth Holmes gave off single white female vibes when it comes to Meghan and the Gender Avenger. So I saw the squad were talking about her. I don't know who she is. There were a lot of tweets, and thank God I didn't record any of them yesterday. But this morning I saw this video of her making a review about Meghan's thing. So Meghan will learn eventually. Okay, it seems like she sent her one of those packages. All right, so let's listen. It's only a minute. Screenshot.
Would you look at what just arrived? Do we dare open it? Don't want to open it. I just want to look at it. Let's start with the card. I don't recognize that page anywhere. We have got 7 products. You ready? Whoa. She did it. Very excited for the tea. There's a little note on the back. Something magical about placing tea leaves in a mason jar outside, as I enjoy doing with my children. There are note on every tea. There is a note on every as ever. Meghan. And finally.
Okay, so that's that. Let's read some of these comments here. This was her apology, by the way. I think so many people missed it. So it seems like she had said something negative about Meghan in the past. So like I said, I don't know who she is. The squad were talking about it, and I have several other tweets that making reference to her. And once I saw that review of her, because it mentioned here Elizabeth Holmes, and I quickly put it on top before I share all the other tweets that were making reference to her. Okay, so I don't know if she was put on a lineup for me to pick her out. I will not know until I saw this tweet. Okay, so there's that here. That was back in April 3rd. This was her apology, by the way. I think so many people missed it. So let's read this. I'm learning as I'm sharing with you. E Holmes, hi all. I have been thinking a lot this week about racism, Meghan, and the royals. I want to acknowledge what I have done to contribute to the harmful racist discourse surrounding Meghan, and what I have not done to speak out against it. I naively thought we could focus on the fashion and not be nasty and be team both. Proof of my own immense and acknowledge white privilege. I let my discomfort as a white woman keep me from confronting racism. I have failed to make so many thoughts an actively anti-racist space, and I am deeply sorry. To back up, in the early days of SMT, I was focused on entertaining, not educating. This is why Meghan was saying she has a platform. She take it very seriously. So every time you have a platform, you have to put positive thing out there. You don't know who's gonna listen.
I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me, I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate, I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously.
Well, you know, I feel a really big responsibility. Like if you have this kind of job and you have an opportunity to have a profile where people are listening to what you're saying, I really, truly think you need to be saying something that's valuable. So yes, you can talk about like, where did Rachel get that pencil skirt? Fine, sure, we can have that conversation. But I'd also like to talk about
women's rights.
Women's rights and like my work with UN Women or with World Vision or humanitarian trips or just really bolstering self-esteem that has nothing to do with the external.
Got it? Let's do better.
I don't know. You would think that as adult, as you get older, you will understand, which is something Harry have said in the Obama Foundation. You would have thought as you get older, you're smarter, you're wiser, you learn from past experience, but it seems like these people, no, they don't.
But it is nice to know that kids that young have an appreciation and understanding greater than some of the people who have been on this planet for 60, 70 years. I've been a pessimist many times because of the work that we end up doing. You can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
I tried to infuse some fun into the royal discourse by using what I thought was internet slang. I realize now I was appropriating black culture. I took swipes at Meghan and Kate and Harry and Will. It was all wrong, but especially with Meghan, I contributed to the harmful narrative of her as an outsider. It came from a place of ignorance and privilege. I truly apologize.
But it is nice to know that kids that young have an appreciation and understanding greater than some of the people who have been on this planet for 60, 70 years.
SMT? What's SMT? But SMT has grown and evolved. Maybe that's her business name or something? Whatever, but SMT has grown and evolved significantly in the last 2.5 years. I have focused on sharing my insight as a fashion journalist, and I have tried to encourage constructive dialogue about the royal family, but I let quote not liking and quote something about Meghan be a cover for some racist comments on Instagram feed.
Very early out of the gate, I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously.
In my DMs and on my blog, I thought removing the obvious awful stuff was enough. It was not. I made space for negativity.
Well, you know, I feel a really big responsibility. Like if you have this kind of job and you have an opportunity to have a profile where people are listening to what you're saying, I really, truly think you need to be saying something that's valuable.
And as part of that subtle, dangerous form of racism that was especially hurtful to black royal fans, I am very sorry. I believe that the so many thought community is a special place filled with well-intended critical thinkers. I want us all to know more and do better, to use our voices to be actively anti-racist important. This is not a call for comfort by discomfort. As a white woman, is mine too. So I'll probably continue. Okay, her apology reads to me like she saw the winds of change. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. As an adult, she should have known. If you say you are a journalist, this is what I like about Omid Scobie. All right, at the height of the negativity, when all the royalists, the mouthpieces, were making money, he stood with his principle, ethical of journalism. He just report what he saw. And there's that picture that I have where there's two people. It's a sketch where there's the number 9, depending on where you stand of that number. If you stand below it, it will look like a 9. If you stand the other way, it will look like a 6. I always put that. So at the time where royalists were having a field day at Meghan's expense, Omid Scobie did not. He just report what he saw. And one of the things I remember reading from Omid could have been a tweet where he said sometime him and the other royal rats were in the same room covering the same whatever topic it was. And when he put his thing out, it seems like they always outed him out because he was not going on the bandwagon of hating Meghan. So from that point on, he just wait until they put their stuff out before he could put his out. So if this woman is saying she's a journalist, why do you have to go in the hate thing? I mean, what it is in their DNA. You see something, report it as you see it. You don't like it, you say you don't like it. If you see something that whatever it may be. I mean, you're a reporter. You went to school for that. I'm assuming she went to school for that. But if the way, I don't know if I have read her past things, because the squad share a lot of things. So I don't know if I have read any of her things. But if she had gone to school, the ethical aspect of things should have been taught to her. Because Omid, who went to school for that, and he remained true to the ethical aspect of things, and the others hate him for it because he was not jumping on the hate bandwagon of hating Meghan and Harry. But instead, he find other ways. Since I've been following Meghan, Omid has written, I think, 2 books. One of them I have. What's the other one? Finding Freedom. And what was the other one? Just look on the screen. I forgot. It has to do with the family, like end of something. Just look at the screen. Okay, so he find ways of writing things. And then, because they saw he was making money, they tried to sabotage his work. I'm telling you, the UK royal family is evil. Look how they're trying to sabotage Harry's charity, Sentebale, because he's doing well. Oh my God. My thing is for society to be enlightened and see through this BS of negativity. It's unbelievable. Okay? Her apology reads to me like she saw the winds of change. Notice she doesn't acknowledge that many of the things she wrote and spewed were racist, only that she didn't think it was racist at the time. That's his BS to me. She knew Meghan forgives. I don't as black woman. E Holmes is a chaos agent. Shanduka, she is a plant from Kensington Palace. What I wrote, there's some stuff I wrote yesterday. I was in bed when I wrote some of them on my phone about Shanduka. Let me go into it instead of me trying to explain. Hopefully, I didn't check to see if I made any mistake, but let's see. Let me go get it on my community board. So these are the things I was posting yesterday. So I think this is it right here. Okay. I love this for her and for potential future black backstabbers who dare to cross Princess Diana's second son. May royal rats, British media, and every racist media display their full lunatic maniac selves to the world at the expense of this woman who dared to cross Princess Diana's second son. Normally, I will handle such baggage to God. However, sometimes the universe needs to hear the pettiness from humanity. This time I was being human and helped send the alarm to the gullible idiots who think or believe they can cross those who want a better world and will somehow be accepted in the lunatic racist world. Oh well. I don't know what went on to me. That's what I was thinking. So this was the screenshot of that I took. Okay. So somebody responded and said, thank you, PYTE. Yeah, sometimes, you try not to put so much sand onto your soul because karma is right around the corner. But why? I mean, there is an investigation going, but let me leave it as that. Let's go back to Twitter. All right, so there's another one here. She apologized and pivoted. I'll still take her with a grain of salt, and I'll say Meghan got graces to give to these people before she asked them. All right, this was in 2020. I think that's the thing I just read. And Meghan and her team know what is best for them. I'm pointing out the vibes home gives me. Also, I take quote, when someone shows you who they are the first time, too hot. Yeah, you better believe them. There's the thing again. She just creeped me out. And her pivot doesn't seem genuine to me and more attempt at access than anything. But hey, if the Sussexes want to reward her, that is fine. I don't have grace for those like Holmes. She showed who she was first time. Alright, returning hate for the hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King Jr. Did I say anything about returning hate to her? I say she gave off single white female. I follow her. Let's just say the way she think is pretty much almost the same way as me. But, she's better at explaining it. I usually agree with 100 with her tweets. Did I say anything about returning hate to her? I say she gives off single white female. I won't give her grace because I know her kind. She pivoted not because of the generosity of her heart, despite her alleged apology. It's Meghan and Harry's prerogative, but Holmes creeps me out. Okay, yep, she wants to be Meghan so much, she attempts to dress like her, etc. Her previous behavior was all envy, and now that she is being classified as press, she is pacified. Okay, that is not an H on the back of the envelope. It's a M for Meghan. Now, let's leave that alone. I think the others make reference to it. I think I have like 4 other tweets that the squad were talking about her. But these were the ones that I saw first before the video of her unboxing. They sent E Holmes a PR package, and she used it to track down the distribution center and share with her fellow stalkers. But when we said discernment needed to be used, y'all came in my comment making stupid excuses and saying they needed her exposure. All right, so like I said, this tweet, I saw it before the unbox video. So once I saw the unbox video, I quickly put it first so we know what we're making reference to. Okay, taking bet on how long until she and other reporters is sent down there to find out how much inventory they had to push the narrative they already started pushing. Well, Meghan will learn now. Okay, we are never wrong, ever. All right, Montecito need to learn some few lessons of being a Beyonce when it comes to trusting past haters who sent that seagull a package. Right, the distribution center is going to be on every package that was sent out. That is very large area filled with distribution centers for a lot of companies. She's not doing much other than seeking attention because the Derangers thought the items were mailed from Harry and Meghan's house. Okay, I'm aware. It's more so how they are honing in on where it is and how far away it is from her, the end site. And I just saw a screenshot of one of her fellow stalkers talking about how they need to check if it is a sweatshop. With the way the US is going, the way Trump is plummeted the economy, anybody will want to be to have a job. But what Meghan and Harry need to do, especially Meghan because this is her thing, is be very careful who's handling the food processing. Okay, because we've seen from the UK, these people will take very little, okay, in terms of money, very little to create maximum damage. So I hope there's camera everywhere during the processing of this food, so they know, and be very careful who's working there. This is something that she needs to take very careful, because the thing that these people don't want is the success of Meghan. They want something to sue her about, to wipe her out. All right, look what they're doing to Sentebale. Look what they are doing. At first, when the American Riviera, when her friend Nacho, Abigail, and other people were posting the gem, I was like, oh, I don't think she's going to be doing edible things to sell, because in my mind, I didn't say it in the video. In my mind, I was thinking the possibility of those derangers, what they could do. But apparently, I was wrong. She was selling that. But for me, what I thought she probably was going to sell, maybe she will, is the bowls that around the, let's say, Abigail's picture, there was a bowl next to her that had, what is it? Was it lemon or lime next to her and different things? So I thought it was, material stuff, not really edible things. But anyway, let's go to the next tweet. But these derangers, pretty much Meghan just needs to be very careful who's working for her and who's doing the processing, background check everywhere, cameras everywhere, because these people, there are people who will take very little to do maximum damage. Okay, a real fan won't do this. That's a retweet here. Okay, I'll come back to this. There's some comment. I'll read some of them, but let's go into that. Now you know why some of us have misgivings about E Holmes. Snooping around and sharing possible as ever distribution warehouse is a deranged behavior, especially knowing that Meghan is stalked and harassed by derangers for everything she does. So did she put all of that? Okay. Okay, you also right about what you are saying. I replied to a post saying this. Alright, so let's see here. Okay, I think the PR people handle this. There is no way Meghan can vet everyone. Her team says that they read everything, but Meghan does not. That's probably how this one slipped through the cracks. Maybe someone and her team, just look what happened to Sentebale. That's all. Just look what happened to Sentebale. This one I'm more agreeing with because it's not about showing more class or rising above it. Yeah, it could look like one is rewarding them for their nastiness. Nasty people will take this as a sign to keep doing what they are doing because they will be rewarded for it to make them to stop. I don't know. Okay, it's one thing for the As Ever team to do PR, but this particular woman has a history of being a not nice person. Shows she has no boundaries in her pursuit of monetizing off of Meghan and is working her way into Meghan's inner circle. Okay, I felt her comment and her stories asking what is she looking for and why sharing this info. Told her it was weird behavior, truly troubling. Alright, so let's go back to the original recording, to the original tweet. Okay, 100% always best to keep a clear line with these people. She is a journalist. At the end of the day, things get blurred. I don't know. Yeah, Meghan had, like I was saying about journalists earlier with Omid, the ethical of things. Meghan has not disclosed detail about the manufacturing and shipping of her products for security reasons. Why is this jackass of a woman opening As Ever food product to sabotage? That's pretty much that, sabotage. Did she say was a fan? Okay, E Holmes is such a clout chaser. I was willing to give her benefit of a doubt when I saw Meghan's team giving her access, but her latest deranged and deplorable behavior has me back to side-eyeing her as the desperate climber she is. Why? Does she have an ulterior motive? Just look at Sentebale, that's all. Look what that other woman did. Okay, she was there from whatever year for Sentebale, left in 2015 or 2016, and then she received an award, alphabet award, I think 2021 or something. Went back 2023 and then create that damage. So I don't know. As much as I hate what's going on with Sentebale, but I truly believe it's a learning experience for Harry and Meghan. You can't trust people. You cannot trust people because there's just too many negative forces around them.
Because of the work that we end up doing, you can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
All right, next tweet. And this is the BR wanted us to give a chance. All right, so she's retweeting that. And I believe that's the thing. Okay, in the world of fashion, I'm firing on all of the same cylinder to understand how they can work together, said Meghan, who says the show has already given her more insight into her customer base. That group of people is broader than she originally thought. While the show itself has received mixed reviews, its consumer impact has been real. As the Wall Street Journal reported, Wall Street Journal is owned by, I believe, Rupert Murdoch. Okay, as the Wall Street Journal reported last month, many of the brands that Meghan wore on set saw a boost in sales or sold out. The trick for As Ever will be translating that proven public favor for Meghan's style and high-low curation of brands into sales of her own creation, none of which buyers can wear. When asked about her retail influence, Meghan said it comes back to the same theme she wants to build her company on. One of the things that I said in some of her thing, I think her product and then the website as well, it has that mellow, the color scheme that she uses. It's almost like when she was on stage, I think for the Parents Network with Carson Daly, is the same type of color theme, low tone, make you feel calm kind of thing. That's what I saw, and I raised that in one of my videos. Could be on PYTE. All right, It comes back to the same theme she wants to build her company on, as so many entrepreneurs do, authenticity. That process is similar to how she puts together an outfit, being very selective about every item. I hope that people see that reflected in whatever it is that I'm creating and putting out there, says Meghan. It's just an extension of me. Okay, so from now on, she needs to pay attention. Who's the company? So this I read in the last video. There's that. Okay, if you leave, or was as it's shipping out. Why would she do that? It's pretty much sending the people like the alarm saying this is where it is. We may not know. She probably gonna have to change location now. Okay, don't tease. That's 20 minutes from me. This is legit middle of nowhere, Southern Illinois. We are in a different middle town of nowhere town. There's nothing here. There's a life here. So curious why she is choosing here. If anyone knows, please. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, I hope Meghan learned from that. She might have to change now. And that company probably gonna be left out, whoever's working there. I don't know. There's one video, I mean, I say a lot of things in different videos, depending on the tweet. I don't know which video that I say. And I said, at some point, everything that Harry and Meghan wants to do, they need to create it themselves where they could keep an eye, because you cannot trust people. But at the same time, they are involved in so many things. They can be everywhere. It's very sad the way they making their lives a living hell. Whatever's on the screen. Okay, if Meghan's team are tracking her social, they will be seeing that too, and I hope it's ringing the same alarm bell. This is what the tabloid do. I feel sick to my stomach, like I just found out a serial killer is stalking me. That is the only way I know how to describe those screenshots. E Holmes is demented and dangerous. Yeah, it's just saying this is where it is for those with bad intention. My God, why? There's no good explanation for what she's doing here. Okay, I hope Meghan or her team never associate with this woman again. She's a stalker, a weirdo, and a creep. Okay, you would think that she will try to keep her crazy in check, or at least not try to. I mean, this is a group. It's a chain. Okay, it's a chain, a group of people. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and her saying that on social media is sending the alarm bell to the others who have ill intention, and many of them don't care. They're not afraid of being arrested or anything, because look who's in power right now. Okay, you would think that she will try to keep her crazy in check, or at least not try to make it visible to others. They don't think the way you do. Okay, but then she does this, which in my humble opinion there's no excuse for. Who and how do we alert Meghan and her people about this woman? I don't know. She's a baggage for God. That's all. She's a baggage for God. Next tweet. Oh my God, I have so much. This is unpopular opinion, but this discourse about E Holmes is tired. I personally dislike her, but since her 2020 apology, I haven't seen her say anything negative about Meghan or Harry. I don't care whether she's sincere or not, as long as she writes fairly and mostly positively now. Alright? Okay, what 2020 apology? I must have missed it. So that's the thing I read earlier. So she put it here, this. Alright, that's an ad. Oh, there was an apology. There was. I responded above the one that I just showed. Okay, I don't have a problem with her either. She apologized, and it seems like Meghan accepted her apology. So who are we to stand in the way of that? Okay, so, and then we saw what she posted afterward. Okay, so when someone show you who they are, you better believe it. So there's two examples for Meghan. Sentebale and this one. And I hope she's watching. Not really watching, but her people who's showing her that. People who follow some of her friends, she mentioned that to her friends. Okay, I just arrived on the scene post-Oprah, so I know people say she was abusive to Meghan, but I didn't know where and how for myself. I was not a witness. Generally, I'm a believer that the Harry and Meghan supporters and squaddies push back is both to help both civilian and haters see a different side. When they do, what's the point if you still don't appreciate that you have moved someone to change. That said it relative. For instance, if that mole woman suddenly changed, I will never be comfortable with the capacity she showed for cruelty. That's the same thing here the squad was saying about that E Holmes thing. Okay, or she will. She good for PR. Alright, so there's all of this. Let's move on. Oh shoot, I hope I didn't miss the thing. Let me pause. Okay, I might have part 1 and part 2 because the list is long. Next one. Jealous and coward King Charles is talking via his friend. This is the friend. Alright, let's see here.
Mrs. Bugglebells is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
King Charles' friend slammed crazy Meghan over her inauthentic new lifestyle brand. Richard Eden reveals her savage swipe. Well, I think I spoke about this where Charles didn't even want to pay for Meghan's when she was over there.
Driving us out into the fields, asked about Meg. Not with great interest, just casually. Still, he didn't always ask, so I was pleased. She's good, thanks. Does she want to carry on working? Say again. Does she want to keep on acting? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I expect she'll want to be with me, doing the job, you know, which would rule out Suits, since they film in Toronto. I see. Well, darling boy, you know there's not enough money to go around. I stared. What was he banging on about? He explained, or tried to. I can't pay for anyone else. I'm already having to pay for your brother and Catherine. I flinched. Something about his use of the name Catherine. I remembered the time he and Camilla wanted Kate to change the spelling of her name because there were already 2 royal ciphers with a C and a crown above. Charles and Camilla? It would be too confusing to have another. Make it Catherine with a K, they suggested. I wondered now what came of that suggestion. I turned to Willie, gave him a look that said, "You listening to this?" His face was blank. Pa didn't financially support Willie and me and our families out of any largesse. That was his job. That was the whole deal. We agreed to serve the monarch, go wherever we were sent, do whatever we were told, surrender our autonomy, keep our hands and feet inside the gilded cage at all times, and in exchange the keepers of the cage agreed to feed and clothe us. Was Pa, with all his millions from the hugely lucrative Duchy of Cornwall, trying to say that our captivity was starting to cost him a bit too much? Besides which, how much could it possibly cost to house and feed Meg? I wanted to say, she doesn't eat much, you know, and I'll ask her to make her own clothes, if you like. It was suddenly clear to me that this wasn't about money. Pa might have dreaded the rising cost of maintaining us, but what he really couldn't stomach was someone new dominating the monarchy, grabbing the limelight. Someone shiny and new coming in and overshadowing him, and Camilla. He'd lived through that before and had no interest in living through it again.
So Meghan is doing things to survive. The farm shop charging £950 for a basket made of twigs, how the owner of Dalesford Organic are causing fury in, was it Cass World? And not just for the extortionate prices in their boutique. So they, what? Damn, look at that. 3,500 side table. What the hell? $950 wicked basket? Well, the people is paying for it. That's the one they're sucking up to. Alright, Lady Bamford, $1 million pub. Yeah, what? Yeah, £1 million pub is stripped of its Michelin star, Pasha's pub in Britain, where 6 chips cost £4, lost his accolade after head chef decides to set up his own restaurant. That was back in 2017. My husband used to work for this guy in Manhattan. And when when they do spring cleaning or something, and he will pick up his stuff, and he will tell my husband, "Oh, because he has house in the Hampton, and he will go and sell the things that he otherwise will throw away to the Hampton." Why? Because they'll buy. He could sell it more expensive. All right, Benford is currently under investigation for £500 million tax evasion. Oh my God. These people, they just mad. Meghan is making her living willfully and ethically, and they can't do that. They themselves, they don't have any ideas. Even this thing that I was looking here, okay, those basket, these are things third world countries are doing with their thing that they grow naturally, and then they buy it, bring it over there to make all of those profit. Oh my God, yep, always the weirdos opening their gobs. I'm remotely curious as to why Charles' friend will regard Meghan as inauthentic. I wonder what they think Meghan is really like. I wonder what I will think of Charles' friend if I met them. Alright, you can tell they are just trying very hard not to call her the N-word. Alright, in the midst of all positive, how do you dredge up this nonsense? This is my timeline, okay? This is my timeline. You don't tell me what to post. Let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next one. I think it's making reference, oh, maybe not. Derangers. Next one. I mean, when someone posts something, you could either ignore, block, or just move on. You don't tell them what to post. But anyway, you could agree or disagree, but whatever. Okay, I don't know about you, but I have never or felt the need to ever buy, copy, make, or wear anything the leftover royals wear, sell, make, or seen with. So why do royalists who dislike Meghan copy, make, wear, and or buy products Meghan wears, is seen with, sells, or makes? Alright, so there's that here. Were you able to order anything? Okay, so this is the same screenshot from, well, did I read it in this video? Might as well read it. Were you able to order anything? If you did, do an unbox, please. Want to see how this is shipped, what's in the box, return address, and how it's presented to consumers. I'm curious if the elevated theme applies to shipping, which is the last point of contact with buyers. Yep, I managed to grab most of it, so I'll definitely do an unbox and review. Alright, I won't ever buy anything from Katie, even in my sleep. Last night, I was giggling in bed reading Gummy's comment section. Let's see here. Yep, I managed to grab most of it, so I'll definitely do an unbox and review. Okay, you could pause and read most of the squad instead of reading a book. Now they go on the Derangers timeline to read the comments so they could laugh. Okay, Royal is hoping return address is Meghan's home. There's something seriously wrong with these individuals, right? Right, just pathetic. They should just admit that they're friends and move on with their lives. This is just sad. I don't know. It's like some people who put their hands on the fire. They know it burned, but they keep on putting it on. Thinking, oh, who's up? Yeah, my son. He has to go practice at 7, but 5 o'clock he was taking a shower. Who is he talking to? Let me pause and find out who else is up. It's literally 5:51 and it's Saturday. I want them to, well, my oldest already up, but my youngest needs to sleep. Okay, so where was I? He has to be there at 7. It's 5:54, and I told him he's not leaving now. The school is not far from our house, so it's walking distance, so I don't want him to leave and be outside. But anyway, Mo's still crying because she didn't get any products, so she could badmouth Meghan. Did I do this already? Exactly, only insiders got product on the launch. Look who just outed herself. Just another BB doing Meghan's PR. Okay, who's that? Were you able? Okay, so that's the thing I just read. So they're doing that again. You guys could pause and read. No, these people are crazy. There's that. I think I read that in another video. Sound like there's turmoil in the snake den, big time. The infighting is spectacular. What I give to be a referee, there's the laugh here. Alright, let's leave that alone. Alright, let me see some of these. Maybe I should remove some of these on the list. Making no sense to me. So let's do a prayer. Let me pause for a second. I don't know. I say a prayer for good people on earth. Let's see if there's anything. Okay? Loving Heavenly Father, we pray that the people they meet will be kind and compassionate. We lift them to you and ask for your protection over them. Amen. So let's look for an image. Something short. Okay, let's do the first one. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Let's leave it. I'm more than an hour. So that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. My God, my computer is so slow. Alright, so that is it. Thank you for watching. Alright, so that's it.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.